Welcome back to the It's Just Sport podcast, Olympic bonus. Myself and Niamh. Well, actually, Niamh, you're not that bleary-eyed in comparison to me. I've been I know you have had competitions and stuff. But Niamh, it's been an incredibly exciting time. I suppose we have to kick off with some of the big news that we have, which is obviously Mona McSharry. If you want to take us through everything that went down last night, did you stay up first of all? I don't think you did.
No, I had to watch it back on replay last night, but I stayed up and watched the semi-final. So I know you've been up late watching everything. I did get a night off last night. Some of the others were in charge of that, but I'll definitely be up tonight. There'll be some loads of great action. Look, we have had Mona McSharry, the first Irish swimmer to make an Olympic final in 25 years. An absolutely brilliant debut for Mona. She's been in great form from the heat, the semi-final and the final. She swam sub 107 in every round, which is something she hadn't done until the Olympic trials. So she's thrilled with that and seems really proud of her performance. She did say that her final swim was the slowest swim she had of the competition, but as she said, it's about getting through the rounds, and it's obviously great to be competing in the final. In terms of the competition, it's absolutely stacked. There's loads of really, really incredible performers in there. The South African girl had set a new Olympic record in one of the earlier rounds, and she was doing really, really well. And then you had Jacobi, who ended up touching and winning gold. So look, really, really brilliant experience for Mona, and you can tell by her she is already counting down the days to Paris and will be looking to improve again. So she qualified for the final in 8th place and she finished in 8th place. Anything can kind of happen in a final, and she really did give it a great race. She does have the 200-meter breaststroke to go, so her Tokyo journey doesn't end there. We'll be seeing what she can do, and look, she will be absolutely seeking to make a semi-final and a final in the 200 meters as well. What was the excitement like this morning? Were you up screaming at the television, urging her on?
Yeah, it was really funny. I was just saying it to Gina, who came in this morning. My morning basically went like this. So I had obviously the triathlon with Carolyn Hayes, and obviously Flora Duffy won that from Bermuda, and I was kind of buzzed, after that. And I knew there was a gap between the next Irish athlete, which would have been the Irish Rugby Sevens. And I was kind of sitting there and I was like, oh God, what do I do in my life? And then I was like, Jackie Hurley uttered the words I was delighted to hear, which was, we're crossing live to Timmy McCarthy over at women's basketball. And I was like, class, Timmy McCarthy, one of my favorite commentators, women's basketball, class again. So I watched Team Canada, and then a girl, a player popped up, and I was like, I know her. I was like, that's weird. And then I realized I had interviewed her last year with the Irish Times. So I was super buzzed to see her, despite the fact Canada lost. And then I flipped over to the swimming, where they were doing some crazy pump up, around that time. And I watched, funnily enough, it was about maybe 2:45. I was getting a bit tired at this stage. And they were like, oh yeah, Charlie Haughey's grandniece is actually racing in this race. And I was like, wait, what? And then I saw Siobhan Bernadette Haughey racing for Hong Kong, and I was a bit confused. She came second in her heat and second overall, so she's in the final. She's got a good medal chance now. Well, they flicked live to actually Mona's family. They had a live stream on them up in Grange in Sligo. They looked stressed, to say the least. They completely pumped it up. It was very deserving of a good pump up, at that stage.
Absolutely.
I wasn't necessarily screaming, but I know myself, my dad, we were both sitting there. We were about okay. I think she was 0.7 or whatever off her record. And myself and dad were saying that even that Irish record, she still would have come 8th, which is no mean feat. She's going to break, her record at some stage. She's going to do something incredible in 2024.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, she's only 20 years old. There's so much more to come from Mona. And as you said, she will be looking to push those records further and further. In terms of the other athletes that were in action, both Ellen Walsh and Danielle Hill have been racing as well. Ellen Walsh has raced her 2 events so far. So she raced the 100-meter butterfly. She won her heat. and clocked a time of 59:35, which was just 300ths of a second outside of her own Irish record. She finished 26th overall and will definitely be happy with her performance. That's really, really close to the Irish record. She raced the 200 meters individual medley. She finished 19th overall, which was one better place than her pre-meet ranking. She swam a time of 2:13:34. So congratulations to Ellen, a really, really good Olympic debut, and again we know there's more to come from her. In terms of Danielle Hill, she has raced the 100 meter backstroke and she will also be competing in the 50 meters freestyle in the coming days. It was her obviously first swim at the games as well, so also her Olympic debut. With only the top 16 making it through, she finished in 25th place, which was 2 places better than her rankings of 27th coming into the games, which she's thrilled with. I know that she's definitely happy having moved up in the rankings for that. In terms of the boxing, Michaela Walsh was in action yesterday. She unfortunately did not win that fight. She was really admirable in her interview after, saying that the other girl that she was fighting was a significant boxer and someone that was very strong. Michaela's motto, her mantra is gold medals only. So look, we know that she'll be back. She said this isn't the end of her. I think it was just a tough first round. Had she maybe drawn somebody else, the potential would be there that she might have progressed. But look, she will be absolutely roaring for her brother. They've made history being 2 siblings competing in boxing at the Olympic Games. They're a dynamic duo that put in so much hard work. So definitely keep an eye out for Michaela in the coming years. Aoife O'Rourke
last night, let me tell you, it was like absolutely
yeah.
And he was obviously fighting, and he obviously won. He won comprehensively, I thought. But yeah, you could it's really funny because obviously at the swimming, I think Team USA brought those thunderstick things, so you could hear, and I think someone else had brought a drum. But then they flicked RTE to the Irish squad cheering, and then they flicked as well. Or else I was watching on a different channel at this stage because I was on my phone in bed at that stage. But they flicked to Team Ireland obviously as well for boxing, and I think Michaela Walsh was giving it socks overall. But
absolutely.
It's good to see.
I think we did an interview with her, and I think she's just as nervous for her own performance, or almost more nervous for her brother. And she really
be more nervous, I'd say, because at least you can control your own actions in the ring.
Yeah, so look, she'd be thrilled with him progressing, and we'll absolutely be there supporting him every step of the way. Aoife O'Rourke will be up against China's Li Qin. A real tough ask against the Chinese fighter who is the 2018 world champion, the reigning Asian champion, and a Rio 2016 bronze medalist. It won't be an easy fight for O'Rourke, but she is a European gold medalist herself, and she certainly will be going out with one aim, and that is to progress to the next round. She'll be fighting at 10:18 Irish time tomorrow, so it's one that people can flick on, tune in, and have a good watch. In terms of the rowing, look, there's been lots of action there, and we would encourage people to tune into the action tonight. We have, in terms of rowing, we've had loads of great action. It's been really exciting, and we've seen loads of progression. One of the most exciting races coming up is the women's 4 final. So definitely tune in to watch Emily Hegarty, Fiona Murtagh, Emer Lamb, and Afra Kyo. They really put it up to the Australians in the heat. The Australians are reigning world champions and, tipped to win gold, but the Irish put it up to them and they're 0.23 of a second behind them. So, I think between Australia, Ireland and the Netherlands, they'll all be fighting for gold. Ireland in the Europeans were right behind Netherlands back then as well, and that was only a few months ago. So the Irish boat is definitely getting faster and faster every time they get out. I think it'd be something that really brings confidence to them, the fact that they're so close to Australia. So definitely tune in. It's absolutely a race to watch. That will be at 1:50 tomorrow morning. Set the alarms, I suppose, and up you get. In terms of the other rounds, Sunita Pushpuri, as we know, was first out competing in the single scull. She had a pretty easy heat, to be fair. The athletes that she was going up against, they're not the same caliber of athletes. They haven't got the experience that she has. But it would have been nice for her to settle the nerves and just to go out knowing that she can progress onto the quarterfinals from that. She did have Cara Kohler of the US in her quarterfinal, and look, we know that Kohler is a great athlete. She definitely is somebody to be watching as we go through the rounds as well, as somebody that obviously we had named previously and said to watch out for her. Sunita took it off pretty steady. Cara went out hard, but in the last kind of 700 to 500, Sunita was just like pushing on and pushing through. So Kohler did come back at her in the last kind of 200, 300 meters. Sunita was a length up, and Kohler closed the gap to about half a length. But again, that will give Sunita the confidence as she progresses to the semi-final. Wishing her the best in that. It's coming up in the next couple of days. In terms of the rowing, just keep an eye on the schedule because things are changing here and there in terms of the weather and the typhoon and that type of thing. We also had the women's pair in action. It was a hotly contested heat, and they then went through to the repechage. I think they were pretty strong in the repechage. I think they did a good start. And in terms of the race, they were leading for quite some time, but then the boats kind of shuffled. The top three boats really did stick together in the repechage, but the Irish pair finished in third, which is enough to get them to progress to the semi-final. They have a World Cup silver medal. Monika said that she likes being on the podium, so look, they'll be looking to push again. It really is about trying to secure those spots in the semi-finals to progress to the A-final. Can they do it? I think they have a good shot. It's certainly going to be a hard race. Everything's been pretty tight. But look, they are two very strong athletes. They've said that their start is one of their strongest points, which you can kind of tell from their style of racing. But yeah, definitely tune into that one as well. And then we have the lightweight double of Aoife Casey and Margaret Crevin. In terms of absolutely
friends of the pod.
They've been really impressive. I've just been so impressed with their performances so far. They also went from the heat into the repechage, and I just think in terms of the repechage that they competed in, it was just so tight. There were 6 in their repechage from my recollection, and the 3 boats completely detached themselves from the field, and the Irish were right up there with them. The finishing margins were really tight. It was within a second or 2 seconds, and the Irish put it up to the other 2 crews. So when it goes into their semi-final, I think everything is going to be really, really, really fine margins in the lightweight double. I think look, the 2 athletes are so young and they're taking it every step of the way. I think maybe there's not as the pressure that they probably have is from themselves. They hadn't necessarily even been expected to qualify for the Olympic Games, and now they are in an Olympic semi-final. Every round that they progress through is a win, and I just think their performance have been really impressive. They're taking it in their stride and they're just giving it everything. So really hoping to see them in the final, and I think it is a possibility based on the really fine margins of every round that they've had so far. So that's kind of the roundup in rowing. As we said, just keep an eye on the times. We have it on Her Sport. We'll be keeping up on all the channels in terms of the times that they're on, and also the Tokyo app is pretty good because you'll see anything kind of instant changes on that too. Give us the update on Carolyn Hayes. So Carolyn Hayes was racing yesterday in the triathlon, making her Olympic debut.
Yeah, exactly. It basically started a little bit late. It was supposed to start at 10:30 Irish time. And as you mentioned, that typhoon was kind of wreaking havoc a little bit. So it didn't start until 15 minutes later. I suppose started off, the swimming was actually quite strong. It was much quicker, I think, than what anyone had actually kind of had predicted. One of the Americans tore away, followed by a Brazilian who is basically all her family are Pan-American or South American champions in swimming for Brazil. Carolyn Hayes, she was in the mix. She had kind of drifted in the middle of the swimming. She came out of the water. She was in the 3rd pack. She hopped on the bike. She was still kind of sitting in around that 3rd pack, cycling away. And then I suppose when she hopped off the bike and got onto the run, that's where she made incredible strides in order to get down. I think she hopped out of the water at 38. hopped off the bike at around a similar enough kind of pack unit, and then she basically hunted down, and she finished 23rd. It was kind of funny. She actually said in her post-match or post-race interview that she wanted higher than 23rd. She actually had aimed for a top 10 finish, and this is only coming from an athlete who decided to go kind of full time at this, you could say, in 2018, pausing her career as a doctor for the time being. She did produce an excellent time. She finished it in 2:02:10. Oh no, sorry. So she finished it in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, which was 6 minutes and 34 seconds behind the history-making winner, which was Flora Duffy of Bermuda. David Gillick tried to claim her actually in the middle of the race, which was totally expected from Irish people. She said after the race that she was absolutely thrilled. She actually crossed the finish line, kind of blurted a bit of puke, and then sat in a chair and was wheeled off. A wheelchair was wheeled off, and Royal Nugent reassured fans that is totally normal and totally a-okay to do it. She said in her when she was cleared by medics, she said she was absolutely thrilled. And if you had told me even 2 years ago I'd be on the start line of the triathlon at the Olympics, I wouldn't believe you. It's an absolute dream come true. So it's just incredibly nice, I think, for her. I think it was an incredibly nice, I know this going to sound ridiculous when I say it, it was an incredibly nice triathlon race. Like Flora Duffy, she crossed the line. She was leaping and jumping about for everyone who was crossing the line after her, which I thought was incredibly nice of her, not going to lie. I think it was just an unbelievable sight. They were all hugging, they were all kissing, and then
hugging and kissing during COVID.
Kissing on the cheek, boys, kissing on the cheek. One of the, I think it was an Argentinian girl, she actually fell over with a stitch at one stage, and she just kind of collapsed in a heap. And then the girl who came last, I can't remember what country she came from, but she sat at the corner and she just kind of cried a little bit. And a couple of the athletes went over to console her and basically said, "You're a hero for being on the line, let alone what happens at the end result." I'm not going to lie, Niamh, you couldn't pay me enough money to do a triathlon. It's definitely out of my remit. That doesn't mean I don't have respect for any of these women. I do. Carolyn Hayes is an absolute role model and inspiration in my eyes. She just hasn't inspired me enough to go out and do a triathlon, but I will continue in her successes and whatever it is she does. But it was incredible to see. As I said, she paused her career to be a doctor and totally gave this the full whack of a full-time athlete. And I think she reaped the rewards. I know she said she wanted higher, but I think in that situation, it was just an incredible thing. And in really wild conditions as well. Like it went from really, really wet and rainy to incredibly humid in a dash. It was nice to see all around. Team G&B obviously came up in second with Georgie Brown. She actually got a puncture, and she actually managed to run 45 seconds and close the gap on the leader, which I thought was actually incredible. Like she lost 45 seconds puncture, and she managed to get that back. It just wasn't enough time. Flora Duffy had set the pace, and she was
so much can go wrong. Like literally so much can go wrong in a triathlon. It's insane. I can see what you're saying. Not quite inspired enough to try when it's a grueling event and really impressive. I think the quote that you read earlier was Carolyn Hayes. Like as she said, it's a dream come true. So look, we're all really proud of her here, and we look forward to see what's to come. Like obviously she had a second place finish recently on the international stage, I think it's great experience, and we'll see what's next. In terms of gymnastics, we had Meg Ryan competing. I'm not sure if you managed to tune into some of that, but Meg only found out just shortly before the Olympics that she was actually going. She was sitting in that reserve place for quite some time, waiting to see if she was going to be able to go. I think her performances were really strong. She said she was a little bit nervous, so maybe the floor and everything didn't go exactly to plan. But sure, look, it didn't go exactly to plan for Simone Biles either. Look, Meg she had a really good effort in it. It wasn't enough to progress to the next round, but she'll certainly be back. Look, she's only just finished her leaving cert. She's a very young athlete, very talented, and the second Irish woman to compete at the Olympic Games for gymnastics. Yeah, I mean, while we're on the gymnastics, Simone Biles, it was really entertaining to watch, and this like the qualifiers kind of made her seem human, I think, a bit more. Obviously everybody watches Simone Biles and they're like, she's so brilliant, like everything that she does, like all the tricks and everything, and like that they're like the ones that are like banned and like are so dangerous and that she manages to pull off, and then and the floor, she actually like bounced out of the perimeter, we'll say, which actually happened to Meg as well. So they get penalized a little bit on that. And then they both got back into it and that was fine. And then also on the vault, after her first attempt, or her second attempt, one of the early ones anyway, from Simone, she kind of made a face after to kind of go, ooh, that wasn't like what I wanted. But it just like her reaction was just so normal, and you could just like read her like open as a book. She like, you could tell that like that is not what she wanted to like to happen, but she was like taking in her stride, and then the next one was better. And so yeah, I know gymnastics was really great to watch. Like obviously you have the individuals competing, obviously like Meg Ryan, and then you have some of the countries. So like you're watching the US team, really impressive. Like I don't know the name of the athlete that I'm thinking of right now off the top of my head. One of their girls was really good across everything that she did. Everything was really clean, and I think she'd been real nervous before, and you could tell after that she was like, okay, that's that done. And then the Russian team, just really good. Like they're on the floor and everything. They were just really elegant, I think, and had everything under control. But what else have you managed to watch? And then we'll give people an idea of what else is to come.
So I know I'd referenced how triathlon was a little bit too dangerous for me, and I value my inside and different things like that. But Niamh, I have become insanely obsessed with skateboarding. Like there's no other kind of two ways about it. I know I told you at the start of the year I was aiming to actually try and learn how to get on a skateboard, and how I fell and completely messed me up. I was like, oh my God, this is never happening again. I only fell literally, I'm looking at my skateboard right now, 6 inches. These girls were throwing themselves down 12 steps, grinding, flipping, doing whatever it is you need to do. So I started obviously with the men's, and I was like, really excited for the women's, and there was some incredible performers, the 13-year-old from Japan, she won gold medal, 13-year-old from Brazil. I think there's a gap officially of 100 days between them. And if the Brazilian won, she would have been the youngest Olympic medal winning, youngest gold winning medalist ever. And then because the Japanese one, she was the second. It was just absolutely.
There's so many. There's loads of athletes that are so young, and it's just so impressive, like what they're achieving. But yeah, I definitely
throwing themselves downstairs. This isn't like like I'm not talking. I was really funny because I think it's like an age thing. Because like my older brother like came in and he was like watching, and he was like, they're just falling, and I was like, but Denny, like,
I did see.
Like
I was watching like the skateboarding, and I did find it really interesting. Like every like couple of people, like they're falling off and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I don't know, I don't know what my expectation was. Like some of it was like really impressive in that, but yeah, I thought it was really interesting to tune into.
I believe.
Did you?
I believe that the park is like more bowly, so like they go up and go higher. That's what I mean. I watched some interview with Tony Hawk, so I was like trying to like understand what was going on. That was basically it. Marjorie of the Philippines, I think, or Margarine, she was definitely one of my favorites. She came down really hard on her left knee, and she hopped up, and she was like whooping and hollering, and you could see she was injured. But like the pure ecstasy and excitement from her competitors just like willed her on. And as I was saying it probably maybe to one of my friends, I was like, this is actually like the only sport that I see people competitively actively cheering for the opposition.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Something for them, stuff like that, which I thought was quite nice. And I think, according to the Eurosport commentator, that is basically the skateboarding spirit. So yeah, what else have you been getting up to?
I know I tuned into some of the hockey, and obviously we had a 2-0 win against South Africa, which was great. I think it gives a bit of confidence to the team. But it was anticipated that they would win. They were up against the Netherlands next, which everybody knew was going to have, their work was cut out for them. So I did stay up into the early hours watching that. It was on the same night as Mona's semi. So yeah, I fell asleep for some of the other stuff that was on before. But anyway, was awake for the hockey. I thought they did really well. Like they conceded one goal. That was all in the first 3 quarters, and they were really, really trying to hold strong. But look, the Dutch came at them, and they managed to get 3 more goals. Into the back of the net. Aisha McFerrin, stellar goalkeeper as ever, was trying her best to keep everything out. But they did manage to get 3 more past her in the final quarter. They will be up against Germany tomorrow. Look, the Irish hockey team have been doing a really good job. Whether we'll see them progress or not, like fingers crossed that we will, and that they'll have a good performance against Germany. In terms of the action for tomorrow, Annalise. Annalise has been competing in the sailing. She had a
line, right?
She had a decent start. She had in her second race, she had a 12th place finish. But the third and fourth race didn't quite go as planned. So she's out again over the next couple of days, and she'll be looking to pull that back. She is in 37th position at the moment. Unless that has changed since her racing that is kind of happening now. Look, she obviously was on the podium with a silver medal in Rio, and that's what she'll be aiming for again. I think yesterday didn't really go as planned for her. She said like the conditions are conditions that she liked, but she just didn't manage to get it. But she's another few days to pull it back and get into that medal race. In terms of tomorrow, we will have the 4. We actually can say that the lightweight double and the pair, the semi-finals, are on tomorrow. So that will all be kind of in one go. You'll have 3 of the rowing races pretty close to each other. We will also have Megan Fletcher in judo making her Olympic debut. Another athlete that has her brother at the Olympics with her, which is something that's really cool. She will be fighting in the 70 kilo category in the round of 32. As we already mentioned, Aoife O'Rourke will be fighting the middleweight boxing division. And we also will have Mona McSharry in heat 1 of the 200-meter breaststroke. So that's what the Irish team will be doing. We want to hear how everybody is getting on. What else have you been watching? Who stood out for you? Like it's been a really good performance, I think, from Team Ireland so far. Not everything has gone the way that people have hoped. Mona is definitely gearing people up, building some excitement, same as the rowers. They've got some really good races under their belt already, and we're hoping that we can see some medals come in the next 24 to 48 hours.
I was going to say Mona may have accidentally set standards high for other athletes.
Look, it's great. It's brilliant. Look, it's really great to have such a standard across the sports, and everybody's really gearing each other on. I heard Shane Lowry is really wanted to meet everybody and to be down at watching all the different games, but he hasn't been able to obviously go and watch the different events. I think he thought he might be able to, but unfortunately not.
That hasn't stopped him taking selfies with everyone in the Olympics.
Oh, he's meeting everybody in the village, but I think he thought he'd be able to go see some more.
No, I was actually laughing. I don't know if you saw, this is like my bizarre story from the Olympics. So obviously Novak Djokovic is obviously over there, highest male seed, and obviously most wanted athlete, let's put it like this, of the Olympic Village. And he's been walking around. So he's staying in a hotel. He said this himself. He's staying in a hotel, but he's going into the Olympic Village as much as he possibly can to soak up the atmosphere and kind of do what it is. And he's met a load of athletes, but I think one of my ridiculous highlights was there was a video posted on the Lebanese Olympic account of Novak Djokovic wishing them well, not only in their Olympic whatever they're doing in their Olympic drive, but also well in their country in terms of prosperous ways of trying to survive a war that they're kind of going through at the moment, which I found absolutely insane. But Novak Djokovic has said himself that he doesn't mind all the people coming up to him, and that he's talking to all the athletes specifically about mental strength and how to overcome obstacles. Mm-hmm. And if there's one thing he wants to do, he said, apart from winning a gold medal, he said it's to give some of the other athletes tips and tricks, because he said at the end of the day, they are amateurs, he's professional, and he understands this is a golden opportunity for them, whereas for him, he's got other
he's
stuff.
had a bit more,
Yeah,
he's had a bit more like support and development like in his career, and in terms of like support and accessibility and everything, like his funding and everything is obviously totally different to a lot of the athletes there. But
and he's like a guy I went to school with, and it freaks me out. Like I'm not talking like casual like look-alike. I'm talking like
identical.
if you looked at the TV at the wrong time, you'd be like, oh my god, is that like the guy from my class playing? So we kind of joke around here that he's Mill Street's own, even though he's not exactly the most liked player. But
I think
you're proud.
I think it's been really it's been really interesting actually in terms of like the progression of media since 2016. Obviously we have like Instagram stories and everything now, which we didn't actually have back in Brazil. And so because everyone's like, I feel like I'm there, like what's so different, like I'm getting like such an insight. But it's actually literally because everybody has Instagram stories. People are so comfortable like taking videos and sharing them, where like to get that kind of content before, somebody would have had to like be a like YouTube vlogger kind of, I suppose. So I think it's really good, like although the fans aren't there, like the athletes are definitely like sharing the experiences, kind of soaking up the atmosphere. And it's just been really interesting to see behind the scenes. Like everyone's getting an insight into like what the like eating scene is like, what the beds are like. People are like answering questions, like loads of the athletes and stuff. So it's been a good game so far. Really looking forward to some of the racing over the coming days. We haven't even like started to think about the athletics and everything that's coming next week. So yeah, look, there's loads more to come from Team Ireland. You know, fingers crossed we'll have some medals by the end of this week. And I think we will see some more national records over you know, the Olympic period. Other than that, I got a surprise from Indeed this morning, an official sponsor of the of Team Ireland. So that's where my new flag came from. So have you seen? I know this is my bag from Indeed.
Okay. Nice. So it shows your bag swag. Or your swag bag, actually. Oh my god, I got that wrong. I'm okay.
So we got a towel.
Woo!
Indeed, and has the Olympic symbols. We got some snacks. Some from some Irish companies. So we got some Cali. We got Ireland's own Flavins.
Whoa!
Great. And then we got some instructions. So I'm not sure if you've seen some people take part in the challenges. So this is with Natalia Coyle, Reese McClenaghan and Sunita Pushpuri. So there are 3 challenges, and it says pick a challenge that best represents you and your interests and unleash your talent.
What am I doing, Niamh? Tell me. What am I doing?
That's it. I'm asking you. This is what we have to plan now, right? So Natalia is multi-event challenge to mirror some of the sports that make up a pentathlon. Run 400 meters in under 2 minutes. Swim 200 meters in 3 minutes, and cycle 1 kilometer in 5 minutes, right? Then we have Reese. Safely practice some at-home gymnastics. Task. Do a handstand against the wall for 30 seconds and attempt the splits. Well, I can't do the splits, and I'm pretty sure I nearly pulled something last time I tried them. So
sorry, going back to Natalia's challenge. What's her task?
Pretty intense. There's 3 activities in Natalia's task.
To compete like an Olympic.
It's to do a triathlon. Her task is a triathlon. They just took out the fencing. Well, there's no cycle in modern pentathlon either.
Indeed,
but
I'm not gonna lie. I would have been better off if you told me to do fencing and a bit of shooting.
Well, you see the like part of it as well. Like they've traded the bike. They've traded for the bike. Like you know,
I totally
you can't buy it in your pony.
I understand why they're doing it. You know, like everyone has these facilities. You know, everyone can run, maybe swim, and maybe cycle. But you know. Whoa!
You want to do it? Look, if you want to do, I'm sure they'll be absolutely happy to see you take up some fencing or do some shooting. I think you could definitely give some of the gymnastics a go as well. Like we can come up with some gymnastics challenges, and then we have Sunita, the rowing challenge on a gym or at home rowing machine, row 2,000 meters in under 10 minutes.
Did I tell you?
I can confirm that I can do that.
See, if you do that, you're showing off. If you want my humble opinion, you're a rower.
Well, like I'm rowing anyway, so like what I was going to say is, does it count that I've already done a challenge because I had to race 1,200 meters 3 times this morning? So can I check the box for that one?
Do you want me to try the gymnastics one? I mean, I can.
Yeah.
I can stand on my head. I think I can. I used to when I was younger. I still do my Pilates.
Could we both do the gymnastics one? I can handstand on headstand.
I only have the old one hand to touch.
But it has to be against the wall.
Well, against the wall is easier, right? And the splits, I mean...
Safer too.
Listen, pretty bog standard for me. I'm pretty much
can't do them.
splitting as we speak. The joys of having no legs.
You're just bragging now, huh? Yeah, I can't. During COVID, like the start of COVID, like the first lockdowns, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to try and like practice doing the splits and like try every morning to increase my flexibility. I then ended up with a slight problem with my hip for a while, so it was either too much running or the splits. So I have not done the split since. But yeah, look, it's about trying to get people involved in soak up the atmosphere, obviously really get behind Team Ireland, and it's exciting. They have #Talent Unleashed, so check that out. As they said here, although the Irish public won't be shouting from the stadiums in Tokyo, they can support our athletes from afar in 3 unique ways. You can visit one of the 3 Team Ireland graffiti murals and take a selfie. You can take on one of the ambassador challenges and use and share the Team Ireland branded filters available on Instagram and Facebook. So we will definitely check those out. But other than that, I think that kind of wraps up the action for today. There is other sport going on, and we'll be bringing that to you as normal on Wednesday with our paper review. So definitely check that out as well, because we had some medals. But yeah, keep us posted in terms of what you guys have been watching. There's loads more great action to come, and lots more of Team Ireland ready to pull their kid on and get competing.
Yes, as Niamh said, you can tweet us, you can Instagram us, you can do whatever it is you want to do at JoannaWar_OX on Twitter, at hersport.ie on Instagram and Twitter, and at JoannaWar on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to send us some of your challenges, don't forget to tag us and what you're doing, what you're getting up to, how you're watching. Send us your watch party vibes. Absolutely. I love a good watch party myself. Yeah, looking forward to hearing what everyone else is watching, and looking forward to seeing what they're excited for as well. So Niamh, as always, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Get some sleep during the day, and I will text you tonight when we are watching all the action.